I see you watching me with those eyes. I feel them follow me all the time.
We gotta live. A is not going anywhere, that's for sure.
A's targeting us.
If we can figure out what went down between Angela and our moms,
It might help us figure out who A is.
What about Sheriff Beasley? He went to school with our moms.
Would Sheriff Beasley kill his own daughter?
Is there any universe in which creepy train guy is A?
AKA
Crazy Joe.
definitely a person of interest.
But how do we know when to draw the line?
Oh my God, stop. Leave me the fuck alone.
I feel like we're getting closer
You can keep a secret.
to something.
If one of them is dead.
We talked about the season as really feeling like a horror movie.
Those first 3 episodes tell the first 20 minutes of the movie Halloween, which are the only 20 minutes of the movie that are set during the day. And you meet our characters slowly. You meet Jamie Lee Curtis, you meet her friends. You see the creeper. He's out in daylight the same way you see Michael Myers in those first 20 minutes. And then you see in 104 and 105 the day before, and then Halloween itself.
We have several mysteries to uncover in the season, and not all are directly tied to our slasher villain. We, of course, in a show titled Original Sin, needed to start with what that original sin was. So we did craft the character of Angela Waters first.
Why does no one want to talk about Angela Waters?
We knew that we wanted the mom's big sin to be tied to Angela.
Horror movies and twins go well together, and there's something that's inherently spooky about them.
What if Karen's not really dead?
We all saw her fall.
What if that wasn't Karen? What if it was Kelly?
The idea that there are 2 people who look identical and that they might be lying to you or they might be switching their identities.
Farron doesn't trust easily. She is so sure about who she believes Karen to be, even after death.
If Karen could see us now. If only.
We're gathered here to make contact with the spirit of Davy Lee Adams. Imogen is discovering the truth, which is she didn't know her mom.
When you're young, your parents are your parents. You don't really see them as people. For someone like Imogen, all she knows of her mom is that she is an amazing, loving mother. So I think it really shakes her to learn that maybe she wasn't that in the past.
The big conversation that we always had about the Ouija board scene is, for the first time, the girl that has kept it together, the girl that keeps fighting, the girl that is strong, finally breaks down.
Seeing those kids come together, facing horror and facing sadness is a really cathartic moment. And I do think it pushes them together and solidifies their friendship.
Why would you leave me? Did it have something to do with Angela Waters? Seriously? You have nothing to say? Fuck you!
Everybody's just demanding answers, but everybody's keeping secrets. The camera that Tabby sets up in the boys' locker room is the very first attempt at confronting her trauma. She is very slow to do anything with it. She just knows that she's desperate for any detail, anything that could trigger a memory.
One of the things that she's doing throughout the season is that she's processing her trauma through her art and through filmmaking.
Our victim will be a vulnerable young man from the point of view of the female gaze. This is a somewhat intimate scene, so I want to make sure everyone feels safe.
She's processing her own trauma, and she asked for a safe set.
Oh my God.
Where's your damn Speedo, Greg? We are trying to decide where our boundaries are and what it means when those boundaries get crossed.
Tabby, where are you going?
For a walk.
The thing that's really heartbreaking is that Greg shows up and exposes himself, which is an assault to her.
You're okay. You're okay. You're okay.
The build-up that made that all work was incredibly important. It was understanding how Tabby felt about men because of what one of them had done to her. And really trying to be able to get in here was the challenge.
When she comes back, Chip, a young man, has finished shooting the film for her, which I think is a really big heartbreak because she wanted to flip the gaze.
What do you mean, you shot it?
Yeah.
We wanted A to not have the light shown on him until episode 4 when we have our rooftop chase with Noah.
When I read that scene, I could not believe it said Noah. Like, I was just so excited. That was one of the most fun days I've ever had on a set. The action portion of it is one of my favorite things to do. So I kind of convinced Tracy, your stunt coordinator, to let me do it.
90% of what you saw was her.
It took a whole night to shoot because Noah was jumping over a roof that didn't exist.
We created a fake ledge, and we had a camera angle that you see her leaping off, and then we had another camera where she lands.
So we built it in through visual effects and production design that there was a gap between two rooftops.
We created some high platforms. That's where we have the shot from below, and that was a stunt double who was rigged on a wire.
What do you want? Halloween is a ghoulish night. Halloween's the scariest night of the year. And a chance for everyone to dress up, everyone to walk around costumed.
It was so much fun with Mouse. We built the Wendy the Witch costume, and it just felt true to her. So it almost felt like a costume she could have had when she was 5.
You're beautiful.
What Ash's character does is really acts as the catalyst for her to come into herself and be more willing to open herself to these new girls because somebody finally accepts her as she is.
We also made Farron's costume from scratch, and we just wanted to do our own version of Poison Ivy. With Imogen, we did Rosemary's Baby. I combed through the movie and tried to think of what was the most iconic outfit and decided it was that nightgown.
Imogen's house was across the street from the cemetery, which I don't believe was originally scripted. But once we saw all the great angles we could get, we stood pointing at that house and saying, that's the one.
The lead up to the Tyler kill was a huge challenge and a massive undertaking.
We know something that none of our other characters know. We have the privileged information, which is that A is crashing this Halloween party, spying on all of our characters. We do those iconic, classic POV shots like Michael Myers at the beginning of Halloween.
Hey, Orth, we can make our own movie. And once you see it, you will beg me to give it to you.
A has a strong stance against bullies, and so seeing an epic fight between Tabby and Tyler and positioning Tyler as a harasser, A very Terminator-like sets his sights on Tyler as a perfect kill.
The notes for the creeper and Tyler in the bathrooms were, we want it brutal and we want it violent.
We always had that threat looming. So it's building and it's burning and it's building and it's burning. And then once we got to this Tyler kill, we saw what he's actually capable of. And the camera doesn't tilt away.